How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. Elizabeth Barrett Browning's immortal sonnet is a declaration of eternal, spiritual, and boundless love. Love that transcends the physical, endures through suffering, and even defies death. Browning portrays love not just as an emotion, but as a force of the soul, woven into moral, religious, and existential dimensions of human life. 1. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. The poem opens with a direct question, but it's rhetorical. She's not uncertain about her love. She's trying to measure the immeasurable. Let me count the ways implies a careful, thoughtful exploration, like a spiritual inventory of love. Counting love is like counting stars, finite action aimed at expressing something infinite. 2. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. These lines define love in spatial terms, suggesting that love is limitless, filling every direction of the speaker's soul. Feeling out of sight, she is reaching for something beyond the physical, beyond what the eyes can see. Ends of being equal sign the ultimate purpose of existence. Ideal grace equal sign divine perfection. Her love touches the highest realms of spirituality and the deepest purposes of existence. It is boundless, holy, and eternal. 3. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. This line shifts from the spiritual to the everyday. Love is not just lofty, it's woven into daily life. Sun and candlelight represents all times, day and night, brightness and shadow. Real love is both transcendent and domestic. It is present in routine acts, like a sacred rhythm. 4. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. Freely means willingly, without coercion, just as people fight for justice. Purely suggests sincerity, not seeking admiration or ego, just like selfless acts. Love here becomes a moral act, almost heroic, as noble as striving for truth or virtue. 5. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. This line reveals deep emotional history. She once had grief, and now she redirects that intensity into love. Childhood's faith, pure, unquestioning, innocent belief. Her love is redeemed pain and pure trust. She gives all her emotional past, transformed into something healing and sacred. 6. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. This line suggests disillusionment. Once she believed in religious or moral idols who disappointed her, but now, that lost reverence has reignited in her love for him. Romantic love becomes a spiritual substitute for lost faith. It restores holiness where it was once lost. 7. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. This is total devotion. Love is not confined to moments, but every breath, joy and sorrow. It's organic, physical and emotional, all parts of living. Her love fills every heartbeat of existence, no matter what mood or moment. 8. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. The ultimate statement, love will not end with death. If God choose adds humility, she leaves the eternity of love in God's hands. Love is immortal. It exists beyond time, beyond decay, even beyond human life. Element: deep symbolic meaning. Measurement of love. Love tries to define the infinite using human language. A paradox of poetry and feeling, soul and grace. Love is a spiritual ascent, touching godlike heights. Everyday light. Love exists in ordinary life, not just in moments of passion. Moral virtue. Love is as noble as justice and as humble as silent service. Transformed pain. Suffering becomes a fuel for deeper, richer love. Lost saints. Love restores lost spirituality and emotional trust. Life and death. True love is eternal, stretching beyond human limitations. Elizabeth Barrett Browning is not describing love as a fleeting feeling. She is describing it as the substance of the soul, a religious experience, a moral commitment, and a universal force. Her love is infinite, sacrificial, sacred, and eternal. More than human, almost divine. Elizabeth Barrett Browning's sonnet, How Do I Love Thee?, is not merely a love poem. It is a sacred confession, a spiritual reckoning, and a monument to eternal devotion. Written in the form of a Petrarchan sonnet, the poem transcends the bounds of romantic sentiment to explore love as an all-encompassing force that moves through time, soul, and even death itself. The poem follows the Petrarchan Italian sonnet form, with an octave, 8 lines, followed by a sestet, 6 lines. This form is traditionally used to express emotional arguments. Often a shift or resolution occurs at the volta, the turning point, usually around the 9th line. The octave in this sonnet lays out the vast dimensions of the speaker's love: spatial, moral, emotional, and spiritual. The sestet personalizes that love, rooting it in the speaker's past grief, childhood faith, and ultimate hope in divine eternity. The structure mirrors the journey from earthly to eternal love, from measurable to infinite, from present to afterlife. At the heart of the poem is a love that transcends human limitations. It is not physical or temporal, but soul deep, stretching to the depth and breadth and height the speaker's soul can reach. Love is portrayed as something not dependent on external validation or fleeting emotions, but as an internal moral and spiritual condition. Browning elevates love to the status of religion and philosophy, making it a sacred force that mirrors divine grace. She loves freely and purely, comparing her love to ethical action, striving for right and turning away from praise, showing that love is not indulgent but righteous and humble. While the tone is serene and reverent, the poem is also rooted in personal suffering and resurrection. The line, "I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs," reveals that the speaker's love is born out of pain, loss, and past disillusionment. Her reference to lost saints suggests spiritual or emotional betrayal, perhaps a loss of religious faith or personal idols, now transformed into a new source of faith through love. Browning masterfully shows that true love is not naive. It is mature, tested, and redeemed from pain. The final line, "I shall but love thee better after death," is a philosophical and theological climax. Love does not end with life, it intensifies beyond the veil of death. This reflects a Christian concept of eternity, where love perfected in earthly life continues in divine existence. The poem ends not on a note of farewell, but on faith, turning romantic love into a spiritual vow. Browning's language is elevated yet intimate. Her use of repetition, "I love thee," acts like a liturgical chant, emphasizing devotion and intensity. The poem is rich with abstract nouns, grace, being, passion, faith, giving it a timeless universal tone. The spatial metaphors, depth and breadth and height, give love physical dimensions while suggesting its infinite reach. Sun and candlelight symbolize continuity through day and night, love that never ceases. Breath, smiles, tears embody the full emotional spectrum of life, suggesting that love is not an occasional act, but the very act of living. "How do I love thee?" is a sublime articulation of love that fuses emotion, ethics, spirituality, and eternity into a single human voice. In just 14 lines, Elizabeth Barrett Browning elevates the private feeling of love into a universal force, a form of worship, a legacy of the soul. The poem's greatness lies not just in what it says, but in how quietly and sincerely it claims the infinite, not with grand drama, but with profound truth and unwavering faith.